Aquatic Breakfast back at it once again. I am currently running on 3 cups of coffee and no sleep. I did not sleep at all last night, and instead I spiraled into a Pokemon Scarlet and Violet rabbit hole. At the time of this recording, Scarlet and Violet have only been out for 12 days, I believe, and there are still new things being found. This video will cover some unexplained secrets or mysteries that may hint towards future updates or DLC. There will be major spoilers for the story and endgame content, so if you've not completed that, I highly suggest you do so. Again, this is your spoiler warning. I first found myself seeking out mysteries last night when I was trying to finish up the Pokedex. I only needed around 10 more Pokemon, and one of them was the Paradox Pokemon Roaring Moon. After scouring the crater for about an hour, I found a hidden cave by mere chance. It turns out this cave is the only place where Roaring Moon spawns, unless you're playing Violet, in which case Iron Valiant will spawn there. I caught him and was about to exit the cave, but I noticed a weird pattern on the floor, so I decided to stay, and I climbed a nearby cliff to get a better view. And this is where the conspiracy theories start, so get out your tinfoil hats. This pattern depicts weird geometry consisting of triangles, squares, circles, and just odd shapes and lines. This instantly grabbed my attention. Something like this was so unique and out of place. It must have a purpose, right? It wasn't explained at all during the post-game storyline, and as far as I know, there's no explanation given within the game anywhere. That's part of the reason I'm deciding to make this video, to give the exposure and try to get people to start theory crafting and discussing things on this topic. Pokemon mysteries have been a huge part in past games, and by solving them, they can give the community a better understanding of the lore. And we know that Pokemon is no slouch when it comes to foreshadowing, Easter eggs, and references. Because I was really curious as to what this pattern meant, I did some research and couldn't find very much information on it at all. The only mention of it I could find was on 3 small Reddit posts. They didn't generate much conversation, but there was comments and speculation. I'll be linking the 3 Reddit posts I found in the description in case you want to plunder down the rabbit hole as well. But I will sum up most of the findings so far in this video and include some things that I found that might help in solving whatever is going on here. Again, everything here is based on pure speculation and nothing has been confirmed, so please keep an open mind and create your own thoughts and ideas. So back to this pattern. We can see there are V-shaped lines that kind of look like arrows or like a point or something like that, right? We can see that there are 4 of these V shapes that kind of open up in a clockwise direction. The fact that there are 4 of them have a lot of people, myself included, thinking that they are linked to the 4 shrine legendaries that can be caught after pulling the numerous stakes out of the ground that appear around the game. The thought is that somehow you can use the 4 legendaries to interact with this pattern in some way so that something will happen. People also believe that the pattern could have to do with the multiplayer feature, because up to 4 people are able to play together. Maybe each person with a specific legendary needs to stand in a spot somewhere. Unfortunately though, multiplayer does not work well inside the crater, but maybe in a future update this will be possible. I now want to step away from this pattern for a bit and focus on a broader subject. Terrastalizing. Don't forget about the pattern though, because I will mention it again very shortly. Terrastalizing is a new feature similar to Mega Evolutions and Dynamaxing, but the question still stands. What allows Pokemon to terrastalize and change their typing? I'm led to believe that this is because of this thing here, this little gem-like structure on the terrastalizing hat. I think that this gem is actually a Pokemon, or at least a part of a Pokemon. There's actually evidence to back this up, and that can be found in the journals of the research stations. It talks about this Pokemon with hexagonal plates on its shell that causes terrastalizing. Notice that the name of this Pokemon is redacted. If we assume this redaction can be taken letter for letter, then it would appear that this Pokemon has 6 letters in its name. So this is the idea that I'm proposing. There is an unknown Pokemon responsible for terrastalizing that could be revealed in future DLC. I have suspicion that all mysteries covered in this video may somehow link back to this Pokemon. Except for the badge theory that I tacked on at the end, and that's kind of just to add some extra flavor. If you want time skips, to different sections of the mysteries and the unsolved cases, I'll provide timestamps in the description. That's fine. Let's take a look at the title screen for a moment. It looks all normal, but let's really look at it. In each of these corners, there is a different symbol. What's even crazier is that 2 out of these 4 symbols have been identified within the game. The remaining 2 are still a mystery. Let's look at the top right. Does that look familiar? It should. That is roughly the same symbol that is located in the hidden cave. This still doesn't explain what the symbol means, though. Now let's look at the symbol in the top left corner. As you're exploring the crater, you come across this plate that has 3 things on it: a symbol, some writing, and a map of Paldea. This symbol is the same one found in the top left corner of the title screen. I have no clue how to interpret this symbol, other than there's some zeros on it and some triangles. With that out of the way, let's look at the writing. These characters have appeared in Sword and Shield as well, but the language has always stumped people. There's no real solved translation that exists. People have done their best, but it doesn't always work. A big part of this language is strange characters that look like a word. I've been trying my best to solve what this could say, and I figured out the middle line because it's fairly easy to understand. The middle line says Area 0. This makes sense as well because, you know, the name of the location that you're in is literally called Area 0. The first and last line have me puzzled, however. This might be a stretch, but I personally think that the first line could be the name of the Terrastalizing Pokemon. Maybe. It's kind of stupid why I think this, though. There is potentially 6 letters in the Pokemon's name, right? And you can also see that the first line consists of 6 letters as well. And as for the last line, I have no clue what that last line could be. I've discovered another area that may help us decode certain letters as to what this might say. In Levincia, there are 5 skyscrapers that are labeled with the same strange writing. You can interact with the labels and see that the buildings are numbered as Paldea Reality Buildings. Is it Paldea or is it Paldea? Paldea.
Bruh.
Paldea. Anyways, the region. I feel that like these labels spell out something different though, rather than just the reality buildings. Because each one is so distinct and unique. It has different characters. And the length of the word is extremely variant. Anyways, that brings me into my final point, which is about this map. This is obviously a map of Paldea, the region, whatever you want to pronounce it as, but there are points of interest marked on it as little dots. I got curious and went to the locations, and what I found was interesting. I came up with 2 hypotheses as to what this map represents. One is that it's a map of cave openings or cave systems, which this could make sense lore-wise if these caves connect back to Area 0. Hypothesis 2 is that this is a map of terrestrialized Pokemon on the surface. I'm not talking about the dens, I'm talking about the golden glowing Pokemon that spawn in the overworld. In most of the locations that I pinpointed and went to, there was either some form of cave opening or a golden terrestrialized Pokemon nearby. Some of these points even had both. It may also be worth noting that a lot of these points are nearby major cities and towns. Just to throw on to the end here, one final unexplained thing that is found within the endgame, at the very tail end section in the final laboratory, hidden amongst the professor's things, you can see on the shelf what appears to be gym badges. 8 gym badges to be precise. I have done a lot of analyzing on this, and I can say with 99% confidence that these are in fact new badges that we have never seen before in any region. So where are they from? Could this be hinting at the next Pokemon game? Also, look above the badges. There seem to be 2 plaques of something, like a crest or shield with a crown. The one on the right is more visible than the other one, so it could be different. I mean, they almost look identical, but there could be slight changes. We know that Pokemon games release in pairs, and with the history Pokemon has with hinting future titles, these plaques, along with the badges, could hint at the next Pokemon game. They're pretty detailed, and as far as I know, the texture is not reused anywhere else in the game. So I think it's definitely there for a reason and is important. Now, I could dive deeper into so many lore implications now that a literal time machine is canon, but I think that might be the topic for a whole nother video. I hope you found these unsolved cases interesting, and hopefully we can put our minds together and come up with, some kind of answers. Because honestly, the ending of the game just gave me more questions. So with that, I would like to conclude. I just want to mention again to check out the Reddit links below, since I never covered everything, and this is an ongoing series of discoveries. I'll try to stay up to date as things develop and if anything new is discovered. I hope this video brings more attention to these unsolved mysteries and gets the community talking about them. Please share this video around. If we can get big Poketubers talking about this, then maybe we have a shot at getting some answers early before any official release. Thank you so much for your time and consideration. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, have a good one.